Hey everyone, this is Aaron and Winston. Today we're going to go over some of the pros and cons of solar setups versus a traditional 12 volt inverter, charge controller, solar setup, and one of these bad boys, which to a lot of people is much simpler, easier, and safer. So come along with us. So traditional solar setups have been around for years, lots of components, there's pros and cons to both. I picked this bad boy up a couple of years ago before I even thought of living in van life. They're great even just to have around, even if you don't have an RV or a camper. They are great for power outages. They can hold a lot of power. They can power most household things, not a fridge, but I've charged my phone for up to a week when we had our hurricane here, and it's great. And I think this was like $180 on Amazon. And there's much more expensive ones. You can get giant $2,000 ones that'll power fridges and you name it, and air fryers. But we're gonna go over like a quick list of pros and cons of both and whatever might be right for you. I have a traditional solar plus this, which is able to charge off my solar. So this is ready to go even when my battery bank, my traditional battery bank dies. I have this as a backup to power phones and even my TV and even my PC if I really need to. Winnie, you ready to learn about solar? Yep, you're all sunny. You're getting charged up. So with the traditional solar setup, which we are filming in the car park while I do laundry, #vanlife, traditional solar setup. Pros, it's versatile. You can do almost unlimited scale. So I'll probably lose any credibility I have with solar, how ugly this thing is, but it's functional. It needs to move some things around. But basically, you have your panels up top. You have your solar charge controller. Right now, I'm at 86%. It looks really intimidating. The ugliness doesn't help, but basically, yeah, the charge controller is the brain of the entire operation. It tells how much to charge the batteries. One of the huge cons of a traditional solar setup is the components themselves are quite expensive. The charge controller was about $180. Each of the panels were about 100 plus. I have 4 of them on the roof. This inverter, which is up to 2,000 watts, so that could power anything from a fridge to an air fryer to an AC, was about $350. Each of these 50 amp hour lithium ion batteries were almost $300 each. So we're at what, $1,500 at least just for this part. And this is great when I'm in full sun, but I have a regular fridge, not a 12 volt fridge, that I really can't even run overnight, at least in summertime. So it's capable of doing a lot of things. And as I grow, I can add a lot more, which, by the way, very important to have. Yeah, you can do a lot. It's like building your own computer. You can swap things out. You can get a pre-built one and have it do everything you want it to do and not have to worry about it. So as we've seen, we can replace one component if it breaks because it's all separate systems. So for cons, which I've mentioned a few, you do not have to be an electrician. I'm not an electrician. As you saw, my system looks a bit dodgy, but it works. Everything's insulated and fused where it should be. However, electricity is invisible and it can kill you, so it needs to be respected. So compared to the little portable power banks, there's a high potential for danger, shock, or fire. As I mentioned, it's also expensive as you grow. Some mechanical knowledge is required. And then we've got our little buddy here. Like I said, this is about $180 on Amazon. It's pretty small, weighs about 12 pounds. It can be charged with solar, via a car, or with an adapter. You can just plug it into the wall. Most of its life, this has been plugged into the wall. It does have limitations because this is a less expensive model. It has a 200 watt max. So that fridge in the back, even though it's a mini fridge, doesn't use much electricity. It uses about 60 watts while it's running. But when it starts up, it needs about 600 watts. It overloads this thing. It is not possible to use it. I'll turn it on real quick. So there we are. Capacity. Like I said, I can run quite a few things. When I first moved into this truck, I didn't have my solar system figured out. This charged my phone for close to a week, which was awesome. It does AC power, as you see with that. Got a number of charging ports. You can have this output. There's a safety light. All in all, This is a good beginner step, really inexpensive if you just want a basic van setup. And the pros and cons of the power bank, easy. If you don't want to mess with electrical, you want a one-stop shop, I can plug that thing in to the little solar and be good to go. I can run most things off it. It's plug and play. I don't have to worry about most things that come with electrical. Safer, like I said, good for most budgets. These range anywhere from, like I said, I paid about $180 for that one a couple of years ago to almost $2,000 for like the Cadillac. Bring your fridge, run an air fryer, live your life, do what you want to do. And like I said, plug and play. Cons, harder to scale. My system does most of what I need to. I can run my full gaming PC when there's enough power and enough sunlight to do it. As far as I know, there's one brand of battery banks that lets you connect them to each other, but for the most part, you get what you pay for. You can always buy a new one and upgrade later. There's nothing wrong with that. You can probably sell the old one on Marketplace for close to what you paid for it. These things are good, I believe, for 3,000 cycles, which is almost 10 years. They're really, really good. The lithium-ion batteries, they work really, really well. Downside, one component breaks, you can't fix it, replace it. It's one-stop shopping. There's no swapping things out. If you're under warranty, you're probably good, but other than that, you might be out of luck. And this should really have an asterisk toward it. It's big initial investment. It can be, depending on how big or small you want to go. Like I said, that thing with $180, it's done most of what I needed to do. But of course, you want more things. By the end of the day, you're like, oh, I love it, wanting an air conditioner in this thing. But like I said, my total setup, not including solar panels, was probably about $1,200. You can easily get an equivalent with that in one of these power banks. And I almost want to say I should have gone that way had I known what I know now. Solar is new to most people. Electricity is new to most people. We use it every day. We don't really know how it works all the time. We don't know 100% of the safety precautions. As I said, it's very scary to me. It's invisible. It can kill you. That being said, there's so many products out there that make life easier. There's so many YouTube videos of people who actually know what they're talking about, who show you step by step. I had never wired anything in my entire life, and I know my credibility isn't fantastic with the way this looks, but it works. It works, it works, it works. I've been living in this thing for about 3 months. Never really had a problem. It's been a learning curve, but it's been really, really cool.